Whenever creator like us reviews a phone, we see a phone as a single entity and try to figure out the pros and cons. But if I put myself in customer shoe, I don't care about a single phone review as much as I want to know which is the best phone under my budget. For example, if my budget is 15,000 rupees, I want to know which is the best smartphone under 15,000 rupees and how do they compare with other smartphones with their pros and cons, etc. rather than a single phone review. So today's video is all about that. In this video, we are gonna figure out which is the best smartphone a customer can buy under 15,000 rupees. Now, before we begin, you should know, since there are so many smartphones released every month, there is no one perfect smartphone that works for everyone. Rather, you have to first decide what are the factors that are important to you and what are the factors that you're ready to compromise. Once you have the list, match it with the pros and cons in this video. We will talk more about that in the end of this video. With that said, this is Mrinal. You're already watching TechWiser. Let's go. Okay, so first up, we have the Moto G40 Fusion, released a month ago and price start at 14,000 rupees. Now, we have done a dedicated video on this Moto G40 Fusion. Yes, it's a review, not a first impression. So for details, check out this card. Now, based on our experience, I will be talking about the most important factors that you should consider before buying this phone. Okay, so let's start with what's good about this smartphone, which is the 6000 mAh battery. Usually you get 5000 mAh, which is a standard at this price point, and you also get a 20-watt fast charger. Ideally, Realme and Xiaomi gives you 33-watt fast charger, but 20 watt is more than sufficient. The second thing that I like about the smartphone is the software. It's the only budget smartphone except Micromax that offer a clean Android experience. There is no single ad, no bloatware or anything that you find in Realme or Xiaomi or even Samsung for that matter. And the third thing that I like about this G40 Fusion is the performance. You get the Snapdragon 732G. It's a good mid-range processor which is also available in Redmi Note 10 Pro, but that will cost you 16,000 rupees. But you get it on this G40 Fusion for only 14,000. Rest assured, it's a very good software, good enough for gaming, multitasking and everything. The phone will never lag when it comes to performance. Now, even with all these good features, I personally won't recommend this phone. Why? Well, if you have seen a full review, you will know the form factor. So it weighs somewhere around 220 grams. Usually other smartphones are well under 200 grams. And it's not just heavy, it's also quite tall at 6.8 inches, which makes it difficult to unlock the smartphone using the fingerprint. Overall, it's not one of the best looking smartphone and definitely not the one-handed device. However, it's not just that. There are a few other problems such as the camera is a bit slower and it doesn't have AMOLED displays like you get with Redmi, Xiaomi and even Samsung. It's an LCD display. So overall, that's the reason we don't recommend this. Okay, so next up we have the Realme 8 with the big Dare to Leap logo at the back. Let me know what are your thoughts on this in the comments. But currently this phone is sold for only 14.5 thousand rupees on Flipkart. And again, if you're considering this phone, we have done a dedicated 10 things you should know about this phone, which you can check over here. But to give you our experience with the smartphone, the good part includes the MediaTek G95 chipset. Same as Realme 7, but keep in mind the Realme 7 was 17,000 while the Realme 8 is only 14.5 thousand. Another thing that we like about the smartphone is the AMOLED display, which was missing in the G40 series. And you have to say the camera in this one is pretty impressive under 15,000 rupees. Okay, now let's talk about the things that I didn't like about the smartphone, and it has to be the big Dare to Leap logo. Especially when there's no leap going on here. So you can cover it with a back cover or something, but it's a reason big enough for me not to use the phone in the first place. Also, I would like to point out the fact that Realme released Realme 8 5G right after the release of Realme 8. So many people who bought Realme 8 got dissatisfied. And we are seeing the same trend with Redmi Note 10 Pro as well. Now, talking about 5G, this is the cheapest 5G phone available in the market. Yes, the Oppo A53s. Now, you might have not heard a lot about this smartphone and I will tell you why in a bit. But when I say it's the cheapest 5G phone, it starts at 14,990. But since this is an Oppo phone, you can easily get it for 13 to 14,000 in the offline market, depending on your negotiation skills. Now, it's the only smartphone in this list that we haven't done a full review of. But to give you a decent idea of what good with this smartphone, it has to be the cheapest 5G phone. Yes, while all the other brands at this price range gives you 1 or 2 5G band, this one has 4 5G bands, which makes it a real affordable 5G. Now talking about what I didn't like about this smartphone is same as what I didn't like about any 5G budget phone. Yes, the specs. So as Prateek says, at budget segment, you either buy a good phone or you buy a 5G phone. And it's true for this as well. So if you take a look at the specs of the phone at same price segment, you can see it lacks at pretty much every aspect, be it your display, camera, refresh rate, and even charger. And we can't really blame the company as well. If a brand has to spend a little bit extra on the 5G chip, which are not cheap by the way, then they have little money left for other department. So yeah, just like Prateek says, you either buy a good phone or you buy a 5G phone. Okay, so next up we have the Samsung F41. Now I know it's a bit old device, but since it shows up a lot on Flipkart search and we made a video not recommending it, so I want you to have all the facts before you go ahead and buy this phone. So let's quickly go through the good part first, and it obviously has to be the Samsung AMOLED display. But that's about it. And what we didn't like about the phone is the same old and overused Exynos 9611. Also, the recommendation, ads and bloatware from Samsung is pretty bad in this one. I know Realme and Xiaomi also have ads, but for some reason this F41 has more of them. Also, it has 2 different versions of same apps from Play Store and Samsung Store. If you really want a Samsung phone, F62 is much better option here. And finally, the disruptor, the phone that we were all waiting for. Yes, the Redmi Note 10 Pro. This, hands down, is one of the best smartphones anyone can buy under 16,000 rupees. They beat the competition in every corner because it comes with 120Hz Super AMOLED display. Yes, 120Hz AMOLED at this price point is unbelievable. And in terms of look, it's one of the best looking budget smartphone out there with sleek glass back, something that was missing in G40 or even Realme. It also has a decent camera, Snapdragon 732G performance, and 5000 decent battery with 33 watt fast charger. Now there's nothing to dislike about the smartphone other than the small bugs in UI and proximity sensor. But the only issue here is this smartphone is always out of stock. And since it's mostly out of stocks, users are forced to look for either the Redmi Note 10 Pro Max or the Redmi Note 10. Both of them are good option, but definitely not the best value for money option like this Redmi Note 10 Pro. Also, there are rumors that Xiaomi is gonna bring back the 5G version of this Redmi Note 10 series, which is disappointing, especially after the CEO Manu Kumar Jain said that 5G is overrated. Either way, let's wrap it up. So, Redmi Note 10 Pro is one of the best phone money can buy, hands down. Only if you are able to buy it in the flash sale. In case you are not able to buy it in the flash sale, then Realme 8 is also a decent option. You just have to make compromises on the looks department. And same is the case with this Moto G40 as well. It is a little bit thick and bulky, but it's a good option if you're looking for performance, stock Android and a good battery. All of them are top notch. In fact, I would personally use it as my daily driver if it comes with the form factor of Realme 8 or even Redmi Note 10 Pro. Either way, if and only if you want a 5G phone and you're ready to make compromises in the specs, then you can consider this Oppo A53s. And of course, we don't recommend the Samsung F41 in the first place. Overall, I hope I was able to give you mental clarity of which smartphone to buy under 15,000 rupees. If you did, subscribe to TechWiser. As always, it's Mrinal signing off. Thank you for watching.